here in the demo. I'm not actually from here. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, and I have worked with CEF Omaha for I don't know how many years. I was saved in a 5-day club as a child. I grew up helping my dad and my family do Good News Club, and I started going to CYIA, the Christian Youth in Action Youth Program, when I was 11, and I've been doing that for over 11 years. So that's kind of a little bit of my background with CEF. This is my family. So I'm the oldest of 4 kids. My parents have been married for 26 years, and I live in Chicago because I go to Moody Bible Institute. I'm about to head back in a couple of days for my senior year, and I'm here in CEF Chattanooga for my academic internship. So it has been a great experience working with Patty and her team. Loved it so much, and I've been able to learn so many things, and hopefully we'll be able to bring some insights to y'all as well, seeing as you kind of joined my breakout here. So that's a little bit about me. We're going to jump in with some videos here real quick, because this session is about games. Yeah, you guys do games in your clubs. Yeah, mostly review games. Yeah, review games. You do some verse memory review games, some of those. Okay. Does anyone do like running around games or like just for fun games? Okay, some of them. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to gauge how applicable to be. All right, so we're going to jump in with some videos about review games. Maybe these are scenarios that you've seen happen in your clubs. I know I have.
All right, guys, now we're going to do our review game.
Slow start, not getting up there right away. Not remembering. Right, okay. Anyone had that? I know I've had that. Okay, next one. Slow questions.
Okay, we're going to have a Bible story question for this team. All right, let me find one.
Looking through that booklet, not sure what to ask.
Oh, shoot.
This ever happened to anyone? Raise your hand. Oh my goodness. Me too. That's happened. Oops. There we go. Oh no. It went all the way through. I'm gonna fix that.
Question for this team.
My goodness. I know I've had that happen. Slow questions. Team members not sure where the questions are. Okay, next one.
Okay. Question for this team. Is Jesus God's son? Yeah, Tristan. Oh.
Could you repeat that?
Jesus God's son. Who's Jesus? We talked about our story. What story? The one that we did like 5 minutes ago. Share what? The Bible.
Bible story. Okay, lots of back and forth with the questions. Okay, last one. Oh, the points, keeping track of those.
You guys, now we're going to see who wins, so can I get a drum roll, please?
Not knowing how to calculate. Anyone here bad at math like me? Kids getting tired of that drum roll. But I don't know what he's writing on the board. It's a whole equation. Okay, y'all ever had that happen in the club? Oh my goodness. I could go on and on about the things like when you're playing running around games, if you're playing verse memory, if you're playing review games. Oh my goodness, I feel like I've seen them all, but I'm sure there's more, right? So the idea of like this class and of just understanding the purpose behind games is to help kind of fix some of these problems that we see in the club. Let's talk about the purpose of games real quick. We play games to, right, let the kids have fun. Yeah, that's one of them. That is a purpose of playing games, but some children's ministry curriculums, some different programs, they're like, that's the only thing, right? They're like, oh yeah, we're just playing games to have fun. Some of it is allowing kids to release energy. That's true. That is true, especially if you've got a bunch of kids rowdy. Like, I'm like, go run around for a while. Get out that energy. But what I would like to convince you of is that playing games with kids, it's about building relationship. It's not really about having fun. It is. It's not really about expending their energy, but that's part of it. The main reason to play games in a club is to allow them to build relationship with you. Kids love it when you play games with them, right? If you are engaging with them, that's a way to bring those kids into a positive authority relationship with you. Is the best way to keep a handle on a club is that by always talking about the up rules. Typically not. Like if you're saying, oh, like go follow this up rules, what if they don't care like about following the up rules, right? Maybe you've had a kid that just doesn't care. Maybe they don't care about whatever prize or snack you're trying to offer. How are you supposed to keep their attention? I would argue building relationships through playing games is going to make them want to listen to you more and bring them into a positive authority relationship with your team. So I would say all of these are reasons, but building relationship is the most important reason to play games. So we're going to talk about a process that 5 steps. That's what the class is called, relationship building games. 5 steps that I've seen as being super helpful of getting your team all together to play these games and to build relationship in the best way. Now, I've been in clubs where this hasn't happened. When I'm at Moody requires me to do ministry every single week, like a Good News Club kind of commitment. But I got placed in a random, like Awana, in a random church. It wasn't even my church. So I was just helping out with this Awana. And one week they said, hey, can you lead games? And I said, yeah, of course I can do that. I love leading games. Like I can do that. I've been leading games for 10 years, right? So I get there and I'm the only one really leading. There's a bunch of other leaders. I'll show you a picture here. There's a bunch of other leaders on the side, like here and here and here and here, but they're not really engaging with the game. They're like kind of sitting on the side, like talking to each other. They're not like helping me do it. So I was like trying to keep control of like 25 kids at once. And I felt like this huge wave was crashing over me because I was like, I can't keep control of these kids all at once by myself. I played a game where the kids would have to listen to me to be a part of the game, and that went pretty well because they were all engaged on me. But then when we played a game like Statues, like Night at the Museum, when they would start getting out, those kids stopped interacting, and I couldn't keep control of the kids who were out and the kids who were playing at the same time. So then it just eventually dissolved into chaos because I was like, I don't know what to do because my team wasn't helping me. Well, hopefully these steps that we're going to talk about, this 5 steps to relationship building games, will help you and your team to just really connect so that you can do really, really awesome things with your games, okay? The first one, we already talked about purpose. We're going to talk about process. The first one is that the helpers enthusiastically follow the leader. Can everyone say follow? Sorry, I like to repeat, right? The helpers enthusiastically follow the leader. If you announce that we're going to play a game, say, okay, we're going to play Zonk. Do you guys play Zonk in your clubs? Yeah, okay. I was like, hopefully you do, because I love that one. If you say, we're going to play Zonk, and then your whole team was like, ugh, I hate Zonk. Like, are the kids going to catch on to that? No, they're going to be like, I hate Zonk too. Like, they're going to follow whatever atmosphere your team sets. And so it's really important when you announce a game, say, we're going to play tag, that your team is like, yeah, we're going to play tag. Like, that's my favorite game. Like, whatever game you're playing at the moment, that should be your favorite game. You're like, oh my goodness, I love this. Maybe you're not able to like run around with them and play tag, but if you're sitting on the side being like, oh my goodness, good job. Wow, they were running so fast. Then the kids, they can see that you love it. They can see that you're really engaged with what they're doing, right? So that's the first one. The helpers enthusiastically follow the leader. The next one is to get the game started quickly. Can everyone say quickly? Oh my goodness, how many of us have tried to explain a game and it took like 5 minutes or like so long? And then by the time the kids are ready to play, they're done. They're done listening to you. Like everything has kind of dissolved into chaos. When you explain a game, whether it's a verse memory review game, whether it's a review game or just a regular game, It needs to be under 60 seconds because the kids are just not going to follow. Gen Alpha, it's about 6 to 8 seconds between the first 6 to 8 seconds you start talking, they decide whether or not they want to listen to you. So if you haven't grabbed their attention and like have started explaining really enthusiastically within 6 to 8 seconds, they're just going to check out. They're not going to want to listen to you. So as much as possible, keep those game instructions under 60 seconds because then you can just like start playing. The kids, of course, they need to know how it is played, but they just want to play it. So get them started quickly. Okay, so the first one, follow. Second one, quickly. Third, the helpers demonstrate the game instructions, okay? How many of us have played Clap a Word in a club for a verse review? Have we played that one where they like, pick a word and then someone clap, like, that one? That one's kind of logistically challenging, right? It's like, okay, this person's gonna stand up here, and then then we're gonna say it, we're gonna clap. A better thing to do is just to use one of your helpers and say, we're gonna play around right now, and we're gonna show you how it works. Just right now, right? So then you explain the game as you play it the first time, because then the kids can see how it happens, they can play it, and you can involve your leaders. Because as much as you can involve your leaders in the game that you're playing, like that's gonna just build credibility to your team. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, we're a team, like we're all playing this together. So your leader already knows how to play the game, so that'd be a great first volunteer, right, in your game. So that one, there you got, get enthusiastically follow, get the game started quickly, demonstrate the game instructions. Don't tell the kids, just show them, right? The fourth one is that the leader narrates the game. Now, narrates, okay, that can kind of be like weird, like what in the world does that mean, right? That means that when you're playing, you're like, show them that you're locked in, show them that you're really paying attention. And maybe you're playing tag, right? Maybe they're running around. If you're the game leader, you should be like, oh wow, they're going so fast. Wow. Oh my goodness, this person's it now. Oh my goodness, wow. Whatever you say, it doesn't actually necessarily have to mean anything, but it just shows the kids that you're still paying attention. Like an announcer on a sports game, like that kind of thing. Imagine that you're that, because you're like trying to get all the kids involved, show them that you're excited. Because if you're just playing a game and it's completely silent, then it's like kind of awkward, a little weird. But if you're adding in and saying like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting, this is great, then the kids will kind of jump onto that. So that's a tip that I've found that it's super helpful. 5 is transition when you feel a slowdown. So that can be different for the different types of games. Maybe you're playing like a random running around game like tag. They're gonna get tired when they're running around, right? So you don't want to just keep making them run around if they're exhausted. Maybe switch to a slower game. Say, okay, now we're gonna play statues. And when they're statues, they stand still, so they get a chance to catch their breath, right? So you kind of have to gauge their excitement level, gauge their energy level, if you will. Maybe you're playing a memory verse review game, like just keep it moving, like get the next kid up there, just kind of don't let it slow down, just keep it going. The review game, that's one. Remember those scenarios we just watched? That one, it's really easy for it to slow down if you don't know what question you're going to ask, you don't quite know how the game works, maybe you have to stop and count points. Don't let that happen. Just keep it going so that there's no slowdown. And if there is a slowdown, just transition to the next question in the review game. That kind of makes sense. Am I catching some of you with these tips? Is this kind of making sense? Okay, so we have follow, quickly, demonstrate, narrates, and transition. Okay. Oh, yes, go ahead. And I'm also going to give you guys notes that have all of these things on them. So don't worry. I will. But I want to go back to the purpose because, we talk about all this. We talk about the process. We talk about the purpose, all of this. Like, what is really the point? The point is that, like, killing time is not one of the purposes that was listed. When you're in Good News Club, you have an hour and a half, right? An hour and a half? Is that how long your guys' clubs are? An hour? Yeah, like 60 minutes. Like, everything you do should be purposeful. You can't be running games just to kill time. what kind of a purpose is that? We're given 60 minutes to go and share the gospel with these kids. And game time should be something that you take advantage of. I feel like at a lot of clubs, even my clubs, sometimes game time can be the thing that falls off and it gets the least amount of attention. But we need to be focusing on that, honestly, just a lot more. Like, I won't say most because that's not the most important element of a club, but it's very important because the kids love to play games with you. The kids want to engage with you. If you're playing with them, they're like, oh my goodness, those leaders are so cool. They really care about me. I remember my cousin, he always wanted his dad to play video games with him, right? And he would always ask him, he'd say, hey, would you go watch me play video games? Would you play video games with me? And his dad always said no. I grew up with a dad who always wanted to watch us and hang out with us and ask questions about what we were doing, and that made me feel so loved. Like, he didn't even really understand a lot of the time what we were doing, but he was like interested in it. But I remember my cousin just being so like dejected, like so like sad because his dad would not engage with him in the things that he really cared about. And so that's why I believe so strongly in games, in game time. Maybe it's just running around games at the beginning. Maybe it's like a little PowerPoint game. I have ideas for you. Maybe it's the verse memory review. Maybe it's the review game. That can be a time that you really just get excited with the kids and have them just engage with what you're engaging with and show them that you're interested in what they're interested in. That kind of makes sense. That's why I believe in it so much, and I believe in these steps that will really help you and your team to run games really effectively. Because if you're just the only one up there, standing up there being like, okay, we're going to play this game, and your team is not getting excited, and it's just going to kind of fall flat, right? So those are our 5 steps, and we're going to actually focus on review games here, because I know that like most of you will use review games in your clubs and verse memory review games, but maybe not all of you do like running around games. So we're going to focus on the lesson review. Now, what is the purpose of that? We're just going to go over that real quick. The verse review, right, that encourages the repetition of the verse so that they can begin to hide God's word in their hearts. That's the main reason why we play verse repetition games. Lesson review games, they help the teacher to know if the children understood what was taught. Sometimes if you have a Bible lesson teacher who gets up there and then they're like, oh, like they just kind of stumbled around, a review game is a good time to say, hey, like, do you guys really understand what we taught? And maybe they don't answer a question quite right. You can jump in there and be like, you know what? Like, this question, this is the answer, and this is why this is the answer. I kind of think of it as a secret teaching time, right? Like, the kids don't know it's a teaching time because it's fun, but you can get in there, you can teach them. You can be, get a couple of sentences in there and reinforce the main teaching for the day. They also provide an opportunity for activity and achievement and approval and lighthearted competition. So kids love all of that. Super fun, especially if you can keep it upbeat and positive while you're playing those games. All right, so let's go through some pro tips for review games. At our Christian Youth in Action this last year, we had noticed that our teenagers, they weren't like leading review games like great, and it kind of started to get boring. So we like came up with these tips like to help them. So I was going to share them with you. Switch games from week to week. I think this is the best. Maybe they love Zonk. Like they might, like kids in my clubs love Zonk. But I wouldn't play it every week because eventually they will get bored of that. Maybe bring it around once every unit, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, Zonk, But there's lots of other ideas for lesson review games that you can use. They're in your textbook. Sometimes those are like so-so, but I've got ideas for you, and I'll show you some ideas so that you can start to get those ideas rolling, okay? Accept the child's answer if at all possible. So what do I mean by that? I mean, like, if the child's answer is close, but not like quite there, you can be like, yes, that's right. And this, like you can add on. If they don't answer it quite right, don't just say yeah and then move on. No, you're the teacher. You can say like, yes, and this is the reason why that answer was partially right, right? So you can get in there and really say like, oh yeah, yes and. That's what I always try to remember. Yes and, because you can add on more. If they're close, but they didn't really hit the main point, there are lots of positive responses you can use to get them closer, right? To say like, oh, that's so close, but not quite it. That was almost right. You've got part of it, right? Like try to always give it like positively. Don't be like, no, that's not right, right? Like that's going to discourage them and it's going to make them scared of giving you the wrong answer. Instead, you want to say like, no, yeah, that's partly right. Can someone else add on to that, right? There are ways that you can engage that and keep it moving, because that last tip is transition. If you feel a slowdown, don't let it slow down. Just have it keep moving. Ask different types of questions. The lesson books, right? The lesson books for Good News Club, they have the questions in there. Not all of those questions are great all the time. I've found that like some of them don't quite hit the point of it. Some of them are just a little confusing. So you'll want to look at those ahead of time and maybe get with the Bible teacher and say like, hey, are you going to cover this or that? Just to make sure that you don't ask questions that you didn't cover. Tyree today in the demo club, he asked, what did the prophet Jeremiah warn the people about? I didn't actually say Jeremiah because I was literally supposed to teach that lesson in 10 minutes and that was so stressful. But I was like, okay, so I'm not going to mention Jeremiah. I'll just say God warned them. So, you have to be listening and be like, okay, did she actually teach on that? Because otherwise, obviously, the kids aren't going to know the answer. But it's good. It all worked out during the review game and we made it work. Have another leader count points during the review game. So if you're leading the review game, you probably shouldn't be the one keeping track of points, because that's going to be just a lot for you to focus on, right? So Tyree during the demo club, he did a great job. He said, hey, Matthew, can you keep track of points? And Matthew kept track, right? So Tyree shouldn't keep track of points. Matthew should. That also just helps. And I like to keep a running score. Like if they get points, I immediately add them to the score, because I like to do point checks every once in a while and be like, oh, where are we at? Who's winning? Especially if they're real close. You can ask a couple of questions and be like, okay, we're going to do a point check. And like, okay, girls are this and boys are this. Wow, they're so close. Because if you wait all the way to the end to give them the points, sometimes it's less exciting. Sometimes you need to do that if one team is super far ahead and one team is super far behind, and then they're like get all like depressed about it, right? So you kind of have to gauge that as a leader and be like, oh, is this team ridiculously far ahead, or is this team? You get what I'm saying. And keep the game moving. I know I've said multiple things about that, but you just got to keep it moving. If a kid like can't think of the right answer, right? Because we all have kids who are like, I don't remember, right? Like it moved to another kid, say, hey, can you ask your friend to help you? Maybe ask a teacher to give like a hint of the first letter of whatever you're asking for, right? So give them a few seconds to think about it and then like kind of help to push it forward. Because if you spend 30 seconds on one kid, then you've lost the attention of the rest of the group. So again, it's important just to keep it moving, okay? So now we're going to, actually, does anyone have questions or things to add that they've learned from their review game? Yes.
Well, what we do, our kids love Zone too.
Yes.
And I know that can be old after a while, but we try to change it up a little bit.
Ooh.
If they answer it correctly, they get to come up and maybe bring a cowbell or squeak a rubber chicken before they get to pick their points. And it kind of changes up the whole game a little bit.
I'm going to write that down. I like that rubber chicken thing, okay?
All kinds of stuff with it, but yeah, the rubber chicken was a hit. So it changes the game up
I love that.
slightly, but they still love picking the points.
Wow, that's why I love to open it up.
Your point on your review questions, our person that does the review questions during the lesson will sit back there and check off her questions as she's
They're on top of it.
And then if there's questions on there, like you say, sometimes just don't quite make sense or not make sense, but you don't want to use, she'll add to, she'll listen to the story that what was said
Yep. Yep. Do you guys ask questions about the missionary stories sometimes? Do you do that? Okay. That's a good, good thing to add too. Yes. What's
We go back
Oh,
to the memory verse.
okay.
What if a kid gets them totally wrong? Like totally the wrong. You know,
I yes,
one
I
in the hotel.
yeah.
What?
Well, we all know it happens, right? We get those answers. Well, I mean, I usually say something like, "Well, that's not quite it. You've got the right idea." I try to say, but maybe they don't have the right idea. Right? Try to find something that you can encourage because you always want to keep it positive. But sometimes I will say, "Oh, that's not quite it. Does anyone else have a guess?"
But is it okay to say no, you have the wrong answer? Like they don't get the point.
If it's the wrong answer, like I'm gonna keep asking.
Sometimes our game leader is, well, no, this. Well, what about this? Well, just about.
And you have
Good guess. Can somebody help them?
Yes, yeah, right. Like if they get it completely wrong, I try not to like just let them come up because they didn't get it right. So it's like,
Our my some of my team members don't agree with that. Well, no, everybody has to come. No, they don't.
I would come up with a list of phrases that because sometimes it's about not knowing how to say it gently and positively. So I would come up with a list of phrases and give it to them and say, hey, if a kid gets it completely wrong, say one of these phrases and like help encourage for another. Yeah, I guess that's what I would say, but that is really tough when the kid answers it completely wrong. Did we have any other questions or things to add or yeah. I love hearing from y'all because y'all have so much experience as well. Yeah.
I would love it as a resource of games, limited space, just fun games, or just all of the review games and the book.
Guess what I have for you? I am actually, yeah, I'm really proud of this resource that I put together there. The first page is limited space games because I've also noticed that sometimes it's limited space. I do a lot of clubs outside. Sometimes it's raining, all that. First is limited space. Second is more space. On this one, you have a bunch of memory verse review games and review game ideas. Hopefully, some of them are new to you. I tried to think of new ones that aren't already in the textbook. And then the back page, there's some PowerPoint games. If they're like coming in and you want to interact with them a little bit, but not play a whole game, I put some ideas on there for you. And then we have the whole like relationship building games 5 steps. So I'll give those to you after the lesson because I too love to have those kind of handouts. I'm like, I'm going to use this in my club. So yeah. So yes. Prizes for like during the game.
The winner.
Oh, do you do prizes for the winner? Oh, that's an interesting idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, candy.
Should you give out prizes for both teams?
I mean, it's kind of going to be up to you and your personal philosophy. Yes.
If one team wins, we have little snack thing. We have candy at the end.
Yeah.
And we just let that
go first in line.
so they don't get the prize.
The winner
Okay.
gets to take extra.
Okay. Those are good ideas. Okay. Sometimes I do like a fun clap for the whole club. Sometimes we'll do, I'm trying to think of one. It's like a Oreo clap. You like pretend you have Oreos. You take them apart. You lick both sides, lick, and you clap them together. I don't know. It's like there's a firework one where like you light the firework and you go up, clap, yay, right? So like the kids, sometimes it's like, okay, let's do a fun clap to celebrate. Or sometimes let's clap. I don't typically reward the winning team with anything tangible. You could, but it probably depends on your club and the type of kids because sometimes kids will like freak out if they don't win, and then sometimes a different group of kids is okay with that. So you probably have to feel that out for your club, but I don't typically reward with tangible. I don't know. You can do. Yeah, those are all good ideas. Any other ideas or things to add? Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if any of you all want that idea, but like there are a lot of questions. Like I put them in groups. So like there's some days where we got ahead of our lessons, so we didn't have like a single lesson plan. So we did a game where we reviewed all the lessons. So like everything was and then like it's 15 minutes. Okay, but we just went through the questions.
Very cool. Yeah, we've done that. I've done the Jeopardy before and they love it. Like I love it for review weeks. Like that 6th week in a curriculum. I love that because then you can review all of the past weeks, just put them up on the screen. Sometimes it takes a little bit of maneuvering with PowerPoint, or you could do it just physically, making that kind of like on a board. But yeah, that's really great. And that's a great way to do per unit review. So yeah, anyone else? I love to hear y'all's ideas too. Like I love to just, interact. Okay, we have 8 minutes. Okay, we're gonna go over, I'm gonna share with you a couple of ideas that hopefully you haven't heard before. Let's do a little review game style for this class, okay? I'm gonna ask you questions from this class, content that we've taught, and then maybe I'll throw in a few from the lesson that I taught during the demo club. Hopefully you were listening. And we will just go through a couple of rounds so that you guys can see how it works, okay? This game, Skittle Game, has anyone played Sweet Review, Skittle Game? Okay, I found that that's like a new one. People haven't heard of that one, so I love to share this one. This is a Pringles can, and then we just printed out something that said Sweet Review, and we have points. So there's Skittles in here, and each color of Skittle is worth a different amount of points, okay? So they answer the question right, and then they come up and you give them a Skittle, and then that's their points. And the kids love that. Now, sometimes with some clubs, you have to like go around and give them all a Skittle at the end if they didn't get one, because sometimes they'll freak out. But it can be a fun one, and Skittles are cheap, so it's kind of a fun little activity. So let's go ahead. Let's do a fun little review game. We'll use the different 5 steps, and I'll show you as we're going through. Okay. So for the first team, let's do this half of the room. Okay. This half is team 1. This half is team 2. Let me ask you a question for team 1. What is the most important reason why we play games with kids? There are like 3 that we talked about. What's the most important one? Yeah. Relationship. Yeah, building relationship. Okay, here we go. Can you put out 2 hands for? I always asked the kids. 2 hands. 2 hands. Okay, yellow came out first. Actually, 4 came out, and that's going to be common. But I say the first one that comes out is the one that I count to keep it fair. 200 points. Who would like to keep track of score for me? Amelie? Okay, Amelie's going to keep track of score for me. Okay, 200 points for team 1, okay? Okay, team 2. What is one of the 5 steps for relationship building games? We talked about that. What was one of the 5 steps? Raise your hand, tell me. Yeah. Get started quickly. That's one of them. Very good. All right, here you go. I'm going to run over here. Let's see which one you get. Okay. Let's say yellow came out first on that one, okay? 200 points for team 2. Very good. Okay, does that make sense how that one works? It's super easy to put together. You just like cut a hole in the top. Super fun. Kids love that one.
Something similar to Starburst.
Yeah, you can do it with.
And they're covered, and they get to keep them.
We've done it for like Christmas. We do like Christmas M&Ms, red, green, white sometimes. I don't know. You can do it with any colored candy. Yeah.
We have a lot of problems. They can't have food dyes.
Yep, that happens
So
too.
we're talking maybe marbles.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you could do marbles. You could do that. Yeah, just anything with colors. Then put it in something and have them draw it out. Jelly beans for Easter. Ooh, okay. All right, let me see. What's another game that I was going to show you? Oh, you guys saw the rock, paper, scissors one in the demo club. That's one of my favorites because you can really add a lot of drama with that, especially if the kids, like, they turn around, they tie multiple times. Just keep doubling it. The kids love it. They're like, oh my goodness, who's going to get all those points, right? And it's super simple because every kid knows how to play rock, paper, scissors, typically. So that one's a super fun one to do, and Tyree stole that one. I was going to show you that one for this class. Okay, how about the dice game? Have you guys played dice game before? Some of you? Okay, so let's get into it. For team 1, I'll ask you a question. What is one of the things your team could do as you lead a game? What is one of the things like your helpers could do as you're leading? For team 1. Demonstrate the instructions. Very good. All right, good. Okay, so now I'm going to give you these, and you're going to, actually, I'm going to give you the orange one first. You're going to roll it. That's going to be how many points you get, so, or how many points there is. So roll it. Okay, 600. 600 points. Now, this one, it's going to decide who gets the points, okay? 1 and 2, you keep them. 3 and 4, they go to the other team. 5 is doubled for you, and 6 is tripled for you. So you really want a 6, actually. You don't want a 3 or a 4. Go ahead and roll it. Let's see. Oh, 3. Okay, so that means the 600 points go over here to Team 2. This one can get a little crazy during this. Okay, let's see. What is, for Team 2, what is a positive response you could give if a child doesn't answer a question quite correctly? What's a positive response? Yeah.
Yes, but.
Yes, but. Yep, but. Yes, and. Something like that. Yep. Okay, I'll give you the orange one. Go ahead and roll that. Okay, 500 points. 500. Let's see who gets them. 1. You get to keep them. 500 points for Team 2. Very good. Very good. Does that make sense? I like to use the big blow-up dice. You can get them on Amazon. Like, just blow them up. Kids love that. They think that's awesome, just to go throw a big blow-up dice.
Is that in your?
Yes, that one. Yes, that one is in the instructions because that's one of my go-tos. I love that one. Yes.
There's something about sequencing. You're doing the
Louder.
You're doing the Bible story, and typically at the end there's an invitation, and
Yeah.
as you demonstrated, you say, "Meet me back in the room, and we'll talk about this." And then you go into review game.
Okay.
Nobody wants to go.
No, right. Yeah.
They don't want to go talk back there about. How do you do that?
Sometimes that sounds like. Do a lot of you do Bible then review like right away?
No.
Not. Okay, so a lot of you do missions. Okay, it's a unique situation. Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that they immediately reinforce the lesson.
I get you. In terms of pacing, it is hard because it's like, oh, I don't want to draw away any kids that would want. Sometimes maybe I'd throw a song in there because some kids are like, I'd rather go talk about Jesus than sing a song. So maybe throwing a song in there, even real quick, could help you. But also a really big consolation that I have just really felt is that if a child wants to talk about salvation, they're not going to get distracted by anything else because the Holy Spirit has convicted them and has said pushing them to go and talk to you. So I guess that's something that I've had to remember over the years, because during our 5-day clubs, we have a Bible lesson and then we go and we play a game, right? And it's not just a review game, it's like a game, and the kids love the games. But I've had kids that they ignore the games. They sit within eyesight of the games and they don't get distracted because they want to talk about Jesus, right? So I guess that's my consolation on that, is that the Holy Spirit is stronger than any game. But it is hard in that kind of a club environment. So, okay, did you say 2 minutes? Let's see what. Okay, we are at time actually. So on your way out, make sure to grab a little handout with all those games on them. Next session, I'm teaching a class in here on introductions. Just going to do a shameless plug on that. I love introductions even more than I love games. But feel free to head out. There's a break for like 10 minutes, but there's snacks and